Hi. The thought that's a great comfort to me after over 7 decades on God's green earth is you can be healthier and stronger in body, mind, and soul with tons of energy at any age. Now, we know age is a relative term, and I'm not referring to calendar age. I really harbor no desire to be young, no desire to jump in a time machine. And I'm grateful for the people who contributed to my life's journey. My parents keeping me on the straight and narrow while growing up, at least relentlessly trying to. The friends and everything else who help you along life's path, the role models I worked with in hospital and health club. At this stage of the game, I can appreciate all the twists and turns that make up a life. So to me, young is not about looking a certain way. Young is kind of an anything goes dreamy period in our lives when there's not a lot of responsibility except for learning a trade and learning about life. Let's leave that age of discovery and of gaining experience to the youngsters. I do, however, very much want to experience what is usually considered feeling young, and I want you to do the same as well. Simply put, and you've heard me express it many times in our podcast, I want you to be able to do what you've always been able to do and what you want to do down the road. You may not even know what you want to do down the road yet. But I want you to live with health, strength, and energy, and that's big. That's life-changing. That's looking at your accumulated birthdays with gratification with what you've accomplished and looking forward to your future with anticipation at any age. Now, it's about time you realize that laugh lines are attractive. They all contribute to the interesting and compassionate personality that's packed into your smile. Please, don't feel you have to Botox your life's adventures away. Now, to experience all the good stuff ahead for you, it just makes sense that you'll have to become healthier, stronger, and have tons of energy. My hope is to reduce your couch time while increasing your on-the-feet time, enjoying dancing, walking, exploring, strength training, biking, anything you want that comes your way. Because I've long believed that participation in life is directly related to satisfaction in life. Now, let me tell you a story. Back around 1991 or so, we were filming an episode for our local cable TV program, Fit for Life. The people I met made me a firm believer that your calendar age really has little to do with how you enjoy your life. This particular segment involved the local senior games, track and field events in which 50 plus was the minimum calendar age to enter. Now, many of the athletes, and they were athletes in every sense of the term, had been 50 years old 20 to 30 years ago. The volunteers who organized the event, ran them, and made sure everyone had a great time should, in my opinion, be enshrined in a Physical Fitness Hall of Fame. Now, the events were as competitive as any amateur sporting event, except that given the good nature of the participants, there was a lot of hugging and smiling going around. I was surprised to see that while there were some year-long runners in exercise, most of the people had just heard about the senior games a couple of months before and decided to give it a try. One guy I remember was Marvin, a 70-plus long jumper, and that's calendar age, not long jumping distance, said his friend Walt had dared him to join the games. Marvin said he thought, well, I was a long jumper in high school before World War II, so maybe it's like riding a bike. Once you know how. Now later, Marvin paraded around with his third-place medal, looking to show off to Walt. Now you might think the younger 50 and 60 age groups were the most competitive, but the 80-plus sprint was just as exciting as the 50-plus race. And I remember it was the smiles of the 80-plus sprinters that had a huge effect on me. Those smiles of achievement underscored my long-held belief that physical activity and the health and energy it provides is an absolutely amazing fountain of youth at any age. Now, a common theme I heard from many of the runners and jumpers at the senior games was voiced by Agnes, a lovely lady of 83 summers, who, upon completing the 50-yard dash, laughed and hugged her way through all the sprinters that finished. As I interviewed Agnes, her face just radiated energy. She leaned close and confided her goal: to come back next year and beat her own time. Now, when we were leaving, Agnes's daughter came up and told me how blessed they felt that Agnes was at the senior games. 3 years before, just before her 80th birthday, Agnes was diagnosed with cancer. She really felt her time was up. However, Agnes's doctor and family, her daughter said, would have none of that. They kept assuring her that she was a healthy person and they would get her well and healed quickly. The treatments were tough on Agnes, but she got in her mind that she still had a lot left in her life she wanted to do. So she and her family shook the gates of heaven with their prayers. And now 3 years later, here she stood, happy and strong and ready for her next challenge. If it's in it for you to reach your goal, you can do it at any age. Now, if you really haven't pursued health and fitness during your early years and you're still a youngster years of pre-50, I can assure you it's not too late. Many studies indicate that people can become fitter and healthier, and as a side note, enjoy the resultant loss of excess body fat, if you so desire, by making physical activity a welcome part of their lives. Now, I've trained many people of all ages, literally through their 90s, who became strong enough to walk strong and enjoy life. Now, you might have heard about studies that indicate you can have the body of a 40-year-old, but I'm thinking, who the heck wants that? Many 40-year-olds are not in really great shape. They've been sitting at computers all day. So how about if we go for a healthy, strong, flexible, and amazingly energetic body that just happens to belong to you? Now, just so you know, when I went back to the senior games the next year, Agnes was there, and of course, she bested her sprint time. 1.5 seconds is 1.5 seconds. Now remember, for you, you don't have to do marathons and sprint games and everything else, but how about just taking a walk around the block? Now, just a side note, I'm updating some of the Lift Away Fat at 50 Plus podcasts I published starting back in 2018, because I believe the message is still important and need to be updated a little bit. Now, thanks for spending time with us on Loving 50 Plus channel. I'm striving for a flub-free video, but obviously, as you notice, I still haven't done it. Please click on subscribe to help keep us going, and let me know what you think about in comments. See you in the next video.